Good morning and welcome back to the Emporium. Well, in other words, my channel. Today is going to be a Wild Eye review for the movie Berserkers. It says it came out in 2014, but it was distributed through Wild Eye in 2021. It currently gets a 4.1 on IMDb. It also goes by the name of Meltdown. That's its original title. It clocks in at about an hour and 35 minutes and is considered action, comedy, horror. It originally came out on August 16th, 2014, and it had its premiere in Somerset, Pennsylvania. You currently can air. It is being aired on Tubi TV. The tagline at the time was "Don't get eaten," but now it's "Get out of the way or die." And it was directed by Jacob O'Brien Mulliken, and he was the writer as well. And he stars in this as well with Seth, Gontkovic, and Alicia Marie Marcucci. I think I've heard of Alicia Marcucci before in other Wild Eye movies, or at least another Wild Eye that I reviewed recently. Its production companies were Lucky 4 Productions, Siphono Ventures. It has special effects done by Cody Roach. Music by Lou Consolo, Joshua Fanene or Fanine. I'm not sure how you pronounce the last name. Basically, this was a short film at some point and then was remade by Jake Mulliken and Lucky 4 Productions. And I did a little research on Jake Mulliken, and apparently he had won Pittsburgh Filmmaker of the Year in 2013 in November. This movie is being compared as a mix of Clerks, Shaun of the Dead, and The Road Warrior in this. It says, too, on the back that it was shot in Cinecolor as well. Or I don't know if it's on the back, but I know it was on one of the sites. It does say it was shot in Cinecolor. The very filming location was actually in Somerset, Pennsylvania. It's probably why it premiered in this town, I'm assuming. So I give the little bit of the fans a paid retrospect for their positivity about the producing of this film in their town. It's kind of like a nod to them for thank you for letting us shoot a movie here in your town. And its box office budget was 20 grand, and by the looks of this film, you'd say it was 200,000 maybe, or maybe not a couple million, but by the way the budget looks, it looks really, really good for 20,000. I mean, it's probably one of the best $20,000 movies I've ever seen, to be honest with you. If I had the figures for every movie, they did a lot of stuff in this movie. But basically, the plot is a seemingly normal day takes a turn for the worse for three friends as everyone they have ever known are suddenly transformed into aggressively murderous, flesh-eating zombies, walkers, infected, whatever you want to call them. But either way, they're all infected or get all infected. It starts off with a character named Hunter who's having his 29th birthday, and he wants to pop the question to his girlfriend Kimmy about getting married. Only Kimmy instead gives him a wad of cash and tells him to take him and his friends out to have a good time. Only they've had a surprise party planned for him, and they show up and start hanging out and playing music and things of that nature. His friends tell him you need to the one friend, I can't remember his name. I can't remember what his name was. But he tells him that Hunter needs to ditch her because he feels like she's cheating on him, which she is, because in the next scene she's shown in bed having sex with this co-worker. And he really has eyes for this girl named Callie. The way I took it was almost like she was a waitress at the local bar, but I'm not sure if that's what her occupation was. Not that that's important to this or anything, but she does happen to be at the bar later on where he goes to have a drink or two. But I'm not really sure if he's really digging Callie at this point, because it could also be the alcohol, because he's been drinking quite a bit and he's really desperate because his girlfriend took off, and he's really fallen for her, but I don't feel like she reciprocates the same feelings. And then next scene, it shows an infected patient saying she needs help. She needs to be strapped down, she's saying, because she's, you can tell she's starting to turn ravenous. She comes up to a nurse's desk, and the two women are kind of like joking around and stuff. Not about the lady coming up, but they're just talking, business place kind of talk. And at the nurse's desk, and then they tell the one lead nurse tells the other nurse to call the sheriff's department, and then the lady at the front desk, the one that's ravenous, tells the women to kill her, or they're gonna regret it. And before they're able to do anything, the infected lady here rips out the lead nurse's throat, and obviously, I don't know if that must have changed her at some point. I'm guessing it probably did. I don't know. I guess just from a scratch from an infected, I guess. It cuts away from there, and at this point, the sheriff's department. I mean, it kind of doesn't really tell you what happened in that time frame, but next scene it shows that the infected lady that said that she needs to be strapped down is tied down by the sheriff's department. And they don't want to alert anybody in the public about this because they don't want a panic on their hands, which in this case I would have probably told the town, let's put it that way, because an outbreak, that's how it starts. You kind of keep stuff a secret, and then it becomes worse and worse and more at a more rapid pace, which it did. And they want to keep it a secret of sorts. The outbreak at this point is starting to take shape, and the zombies are it looks like they attack an FBI agent. I want to say it was, but his hair was a little long, I thought, for an FBI agent, but he was dressed in black. He had the sunglasses, and then he talked to somebody, and he was like, "Sir," you kind of felt like he was FBI, and I don't know how the FBI would have already been there already, but we'll go with it because, it is a horror film, and you can't break everything down as to why people, things go on in a horror film. But he's killed by the infected in this scene. And then in the meantime, Hunter and his girlfriend are not getting along at all, and it just shows signs that they're cheating. The cheating is going on because more often than not, when your loved one is fighting with you, something's going on. It's all signs pointed that she's a cheater anyway, not just because earlier it showed that her in bed with somebody, but it just had that vibe. Leads to a very big argument that leads to her headbutting him and knocking him back into the door. I don't know if he's kind of like a lover, not a fighter. But I thought he would have been a little, did a little more than getting headbutted and just take that. I would have walked out or did some yelling or something. But it shows him next scene at a bar. He's there, and they're more or less at a bar. He goes to the bar, and then people in the bar are poking fun at Hunter about him getting beat up, and even the bar attenders even cracking jokes and stuff. And in walks Callie. Like I said, I don't know if Callie at this point was a bartender in this, because she does happen to be there already, or more or less. And she's ticked off that, what was her name? Kimmy, Hunter's, now, at this point, probably ex-girlfriend. Would harm him, and she said that he deserves better, and that she wants to go confront Kimmy. It looked like she was going to the door. I'm not sure if they tried to imply that she went and confronted her, but then it cuts to a TV screen while everybody's in the bar, and a news reporter says the infection started via patient zero. Patient zero being the lady that said she wanted to be strapped down from the beginning, massacred half of the staff, and was headed to the zombie horde is headed to a bunch of towns in and around Somerset, where this was shot and premiered. there's an order of evacuation has been placed in and around these small towns. Hunter tries to sell and it's dead air. The TV won't work for the bartender Zeke. The makeup effects for the film, by the way, is really excellently done. Some of the gore scenes when the zombies eat, the living. They do a really good job with like making it look realistic. I thought top notch production by Jake Mulliken. But back to the review. Citizens one by one in this film are being attacked by the infected, leaving our stars more or less left to fight an army of the undead, which at this point is starting to turn into a bit of an army. At some point, Hunter, our lead actor here, has been bitten, but the bartender sanitizes a knife, and apparently that's going to make them all better. I kind of get it, but I would have did a little more. Maybe like go to the bar and pour like liquor in it, and then I know some say you cauterize it, or whatever, caught like that. I mean, I know it's gonna be vicious to chop off there, but I guess maybe they figured because it was too high up they couldn't cut nothing off. But I don't think a knife over an open burner and sticking it on the bite is gonna do anything. But apparently it does, and he doesn't die. The group of friends at this point are trying to forge a plan to get out of their once friendly little town. Hunter is attacked by... Hunter is attacked by an undead again, but before it's able to do anything, Callie stabs it through the head. And Callie comes off as this like sweet, lovable girl, but she's got a bad girl side too, because she's like quite tough with the zombies. Like she's one of those people that reacts upon what's going on, like as opposed to some people would freeze or have forms of shock come in because they can't believe what's going on. And once again, this $2,000 budget film did a hell of a job with the makeup effects. Like going further into the movie, I couldn't get over how good the makeup effects were for this. And I really liked the music score in this movie throughout. It had a really, really well done sound. It kind of felt like an indie version of John Carpenter at times with the music. At some point, Hunter walks up behind Callie during a zombie standoff, and to get her attention, and shoots him. She shoots him thinking he's a walker, and now he's been hit with a bullet on top of being bitten. And at this point, he's bleeding badly, and not lead, but the bartender knows a thing or two about, like home remedies and medical things. I have a feeling he might have had medical training in the army or something. Bartender the bartender Zeke gets them all in a car, and he knows of a place that is going to be safe for all of them. It's not looking good for Hunter, but Zeke and the friends are able to strap Hunter down to, or hold him at bay so they can get the bullet out. But meantime, he's going all guinea pig on where the bullet is, and he does get it out. They wrap Hunter in gauze and bandages. All they can do at this point is hope and pray that he pulls through. I must say the character in this Les, that's like the best friend of Hunter, really reminds me of the wrestler Samuel Shaw from formerly of Impact Wrestling. His same hairstyle, his looks. The only difference is it's not the same stature, the muscular build or anything like that. Not that that's important, but it just kind of sticks out to me. It reminded me of the wrestler Sam Shaw that now wrestles in NXT. It seems after taking the bullet, Hunter seems to be in stable condition, and it's looking more promising. I must say Hunter in this movie takes a licking and keeps on ticking. Kind of much in the way of Ash, but he isn't as cool as Ash, but I kind of got the vibe they might have been going for like an Ash kind of character at this point, because he keeps getting things done to him, but he doesn't die. And then in the meantime, it flashes ahead 2 years later, and humanity, you can tell, has become more primitive. people on chains, or people are well, a person, I should say, not people, but a person is being dragged around on a chain like a pet. Very much in the world of Road Warrior esque for me. It was. Kelly and Hunter are becoming hardened due into the apocalyptic situation. At this point, I kind of feel like they're a little bit tweenish to me. They're kind of like good. Well, they're mostly good, but they have bad. They've gotten to pick up some bad elements. Uh, I say tweeners because Callie doesn't like being used. Also, there's a scene where she's being used as bait from Hunter to try and draw out this other crowd of people that are doing things on their own to hoard up all the food, and I don't know if they're just trying to take everything on the planet, like kind of like in The Walking Dead, like where you had your groups where people were hoarding everything, but then you had groups that didn't like other groups, that kind of thing. Kind of like with Negan, the people didn't like Negan. This is very much what's going on here. People are forming their own communities, and to me, I think we should, even though there's a apocalyptic thing going on, we should stick together in these futuristic things a little bit and make after all, it's us versus them, and you try to stay alive. But seems like our gang here, our main good guys here, are stockpiling essentials in the basement of a place called Whisper City. And the guy in charge of the like food and the things that they have down there is a perverted acting guy who likes to look at porn mags, and he likes to refer to himself as daddy. It's a pretty funny part. Kind of reminded me of the part in Jason, the latest the Final Friday that was out, where the guy was in the shed or out in the barn, and he kept looking at porn magazines. And the guy character reminded me a lot of him, as his attitude and his responses to like dirty magazines. At this point, Hunter has become changed since the outbreak. He's less caring. I feel he's gained a bit of an ego in this at this point. I see bad things ahead for him if he keeps going down the path. At this point, I see bad things happening for him. Seems like this world has become a man versus man instead of man versus zombie. My favorite character in this movie was Zeke, the bartender, because he kind of felt like a throwback like character to a Dr. Loomis, or I can't remember the guy in Walking Dead that was a doctor that was in charge of stuff, and Rick and the gang stayed on the farm. I can't remember his name, but he reminded me of that guy too, that actor that played in that. He's trying to basically keep the common sense in the world, and at times Hunter kind of challenges that. I kind of feel like Hunter is kind of getting like a PTSD from all of this a little bit. And it shows Hunter and Callie at this point, this juncture of the movie, they're starting to disagree a lot. But then they do have a make-up sex scene. It doesn't show anything, but basically, this movie at this point, the global issue with the horrible happening with the apocalyptic thing, starting to take things to a little bit to the dark side of things, where everything seems to be in neutral, and everything that made sense before is no longer. The goal is to stay alive and keep humanity alive and kicking, and they're doing about an 80% good job. But there's still things popping up that are unexpected. Stuff that could get them killed because of Hunter's poor decision making. I think if Zeke wouldn't have been around, I think the whole team probably would have been dead at this point. You do notice a change in Hunter at this point. He no longer listens to reason, and he becomes way too confident in himself. And in the end finale of this film, Hunter goes a bit rogue and becomes a mean killing machine, but is caught off guard by a zombie, only to be saved by a member of the group that shoots the zombie from behind. But then the man who saved him gets shot by someone from another group, and hunter shoots the guy from the group. So it was like bang, 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 with the shooting and the killing of this little situation here. And at that point, it's pretty much at the meat and potatoes part of the movie where it's pretty much at the end. And they've had a bit of a standoff with this new group. But our friends have been kind of swindled by this guy that's dressed in a reverend outfit. I think they referred to him as Father White, who seems like this nice little old man who has nothing but good intentions. But in the meantime, we know better because his Hunter's group, Zeke's group, whoever's group it is at this point, have been captured by this Father White, and he's talking real craziness about redemption and all this stuff that a clergyman would say about the situation. And he's I think he's far gone. I think he did a good job of hiding that he was kind of crazy when he did talk to the members of the group earlier on. But they're all captured. He's more or less a psychopath, and he has them all tied up. Kind of like in that one episode of Walking Dead, where Negan had them all on their knees and tied up. That's very much the way they end this one. I kind of felt like that was a Walking Dead nod. Maybe not. That's what I felt, though. But I don't know if that scene, or if Walking Dead stole it. It could have been the other. I'm probably going to say it was the other way around, because this was out 2014, and I don't think that happened like 7 years ago. Team leader says to Zeke that this is only the beginning, and that it basically, that's the way it ends, and it cuts to black, and then we hear music. You cue the credits as well. It really hints at a sequel, and I really would be down with a sequel for this, because I think it's really well made. But that's my review for the Berserkers. I think you will really enjoy this if you like the zombie world, or whatever the subgenre of the zombies. Like I said, they did a really good job with the $20,000 they spent on this film. I was very glad that I now own it. And I could honestly see him slapping a Berserkers Part 2 on this in a next year or two. Hopefully, our proper channels are taken to get a sequel. I really had fun with this one, and I recommend if you see it and you see it on Wild Eye, you buy it from them or wherever you get it. Still money towards Wild Eye's funding of these movies. And take care on this Saturday, and I'll see you again in the next review. See you later, guys. Bye.